The knife went in clean, but she didn't scream. She just looked at the man holding it and realized she'd miscalculated everything. Seoul wasn't a sanctuary. It was a hunting ground. Then the world exploded. Gunfire. Shattered glass. A hand yanking her backwards so hard her teeth rattled. When she looked up, Jae-won Kang was standing over her like a demon carved from smoke and rage. The same man she'd run from 3 years ago. The same man whose world she thought she'd escaped. He pressed his suit jacket against her bleeding side, his dark eyes locking onto hers with terrifying intensity. "I always wanted you," he whispered. Not past tense. Present. Always. Now, 70 floors above the city, she's learning the truth about the monster who saved her life. The difference between a captor and a savior? With him, they're the same thing. Welcome to K-Empire Diaries, besties. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment where you are watching from. Let's get started. The pain comes in waves, sharp and insistent, dragging Naya Laurent back to consciousness. Her eyelids feel weighted, her mouth dry as cotton. She tries to move and immediately regrets it. Fire spreads from her left side, stealing her breath. "Don't move." The voice is familiar, low and commanding. A voice she hasn't heard in 3 years but would recognize in her sleep, in her nightmares, in every moment of false peace she's built since running. Her eyes snap open. The ceiling above her is unfamiliar, all dark with beams and recessed lighting that costs more than most people earn in a year. Floor-to-ceiling windows reveal Seoul's glittering skyline, the city spread out like scattered diamonds 70 floors below. She's in his penthouse. She knows this without asking because she remembers the view from 3 years ago, remembers standing at those same windows and feeling like she was on top of the world. Before she understood what his world actually cost. "I said don't move." Jae-won Kang appears in her peripheral vision, and despite everything, despite the wound in her side and the fear clawing at her throat, her body reacts. Her pulse quickens. Her skin feels too tight. He looks exactly as she remembers and completely different. Still devastating, all sharp cheekbones and intense dark eyes, his black hair pushed back from his forehead. But there's something harder in his expression now, something colder. Like the 3 years she's been gone carved away whatever softness he once pretended to have. He's in a fresh white shirt, unbuttoned at the collar, sleeves rolled to his elbows. There's blood on his hands. Her blood, she realizes. Not all of it, though. Some of it belongs to the men he killed. The memory rushes back. The alley. The rain. The man with the knife who smiled at her like he was delivering a gift. Then Jae-won materializing out of the darkness like something summoned from her worst fears and deepest longings. Moving with lethal precision, breaking bones and ending lives with his bare hands. 6 men. He killed 6 men without breaking a sweat. Why? Her voice comes out hoarse, barely a whisper. Why did I save you? Jae-won moves closer, perching on the edge of the bed. She's in a bed. His bed. The sheets are silk, charcoal gray, and they smell like him. Expensive cologne and something darker, more primal. Because you're mine. I'm not. You've been mine since the moment you walked into my club 3 years ago wearing that red dress. His hand reaches out, fingers brushing her cheek with devastating gentleness. You've been mine through every day you spent running. You've been mine through every fake name, every desperate attempt to disappear. Did you really think I didn't know where you were? The words hit like ice water. What? Seoul. Itaewon District. The small apartment above the bookstore. His thumb traces her jaw. You worked at 3 different cafes in 2 years. Changed your hair. Started going by Nicole instead of Naya. Very thorough. Her heart hammers against her ribs. You knew where I was the entire time? Every single day. His eyes hold hers, unblinking. I had men watching you. Making sure you were safe. Making sure no one touched what belongs to me. Then why? She can't finish the question. Her mind is spinning, trying to reconcile this revelation with the 3 years of freedom she thought she'd earned. Why did I let you go? He leans closer, his face inches from hers. Because I wanted you to understand something, Naya. There is nowhere on this earth you can run that I won't find you. Nowhere you can hide that I won't reach. And when you finally understood that, when you were desperate enough, scared enough, broken enough, you'd realize the truth. What truth? That I'm the only safe place you have. His hand slides to the back of her neck, fingers tangling in her hair. That you were always going to end up right here, in my bed, under my protection, exactly where you belong. She should be terrified. Every rational part of her brain screams that this man is dangerous, that his obsession is toxic, that she needs to run again the moment she can stand. But her body betrays her. Heat pools low in her belly. Her breathing quickens. When his thumb brushes the sensitive spot behind her ear, she can't stop the small gasp that escapes. "You're insane," she whispers. "Probably." He smiles, and it's the most terrifying thing she's ever seen. Beautiful and deadly. "But I'm your insane. I've always been yours, Naya. You just didn't want to accept it." A knock at the door interrupts them. Jae-won's expression shifts instantly, the softness vanishing behind a mask of cold authority. "Come." A man enters, tall and severe in a dark suit. She recognizes him. Han Miho, Jae-won's head of security. He'd been there 3 years ago, watching her with suspicious eyes, clearly believing she didn't belong in Jae-won's world. "The cleanup is complete," Miho reports, his eyes carefully avoiding the bed. "No witnesses. The bodies have been disposed of. And my uncle? Still breathing." There's distaste in Miho's voice. "For now." Jae-won's hand tightens fractionally in Naya's hair. She feels the tension radiating through him, sees the muscle jump in his jaw. He sent them after her. It's not a question, but Miho nods anyway. "We confirmed it. The order came directly from Kang Sung-ho. He wanted her eliminated before you could." He stops, glancing at Naya. "Before I could what?" she asks, her voice stronger now despite the pain in her side. Jae-won looks at her, something dark and possessive burning in his eyes. "Before I could bring you home. My uncle has been trying to consolidate power for the past year. He sees any attachment I have as weakness. And you, Naya, you're my only weakness. I left. I was gone. And I was coming for you." He says it like it's the most obvious thing in the world. "Next week. I'd given you 3 years to understand that leaving didn't work, that you couldn't build a life without me. I was going to collect you, bring you home, and make you mine in every way that matters. But my uncle found out. He decided to eliminate the threat before I could act." The casual way he talks about collecting her, like she's a possession he temporarily misplaced, should infuriate her. Instead, it does something worse. It makes her feel wanted in a way she's never experienced. Desired with an intensity that's almost violent. "You can't just claim people," she says weakly. "I already claimed you." His hand slides from her hair to her throat, not squeezing, just resting there in a gesture of absolute ownership. 3 years ago, when you gave yourself to me, when you looked at me with those beautiful eyes and surrendered everything. You became mine that night, Naya. The only mistake I made was letting you forget it." Heat floods her face because she remembers that night with painful clarity. The way he'd touched her like she was something precious and devastating all at once. The way he'd whispered her name like a prayer and a curse. The way she'd shattered in his arms and felt, for the first time in her life, completely safe. Until she'd learned what he really was. What his world really meant. "Leave us," Jae-won says to Miho without breaking eye contact with Naya. Miho hesitates. "The doctor should check her wound again in." "I said leave." The command in his voice is absolute. Miho bows slightly and exits, closing the door with a soft click. The silence that follows is suffocating. Jae-won's hand remains on her throat, his thumb tracing slow circles on her pulse point. He can feel her heartbeat, she realizes. Can feel exactly what he does to her. "Are you going to run again?" he asks softly. "You said there's nowhere I can go that you won't find me." "There isn't. But I want to know if you're going to try." She should say yes. Should maintain some illusion of resistance, of agency. But lying to him feels impossible when he's touching her like this, looking at her like she's the only thing in the world that matters. "I don't know," she admits. "Honest." His thumb presses slightly harder against her pulse. "I can work with honest. What I can't work with is you bleeding out in an alley because my enemies decided you're the key to destroying me." "Am I? The key to destroying you?" His laugh is dark, almost bitter. "You're the key to everything, Naya. You always have been. Why do you think I let you go? Why do you think I spent 3 years watching you from a distance instead of dragging you back the moment you ran? Why? Because I needed you to see." He leans down, his forehead nearly touching hers. "I needed you to try living without me. I needed you to build your little life, your safe existence, your world where monsters like me don't exist. And then I needed you to realize that it was all an illusion. That the only reason you were safe was because I was still protecting you. That the moment my protection wavered, you were seconds from death." The truth of his words settles over her like ice. "You used me as bait. I used you as a lesson." His voice is soft but unyielding. "For you and for anyone who thought they could take you from me. Now they know. Now you know." There is no version of this story where you're not mine. Her breath catches. You're a monster. Yes. He doesn't deny it, doesn't soften it. But I'm your monster. And that makes all the difference. The pain medication is wearing off. She can feel it in the way her side throbs, in the sharpness returning to her thoughts. I know what you need. He's already moving, reaching for a syringe on the nightstand. The doctor left this. It'll help with the pain. She watches as he administers it with surprising gentleness, his large hands steady and sure. Within seconds, warmth spreads through her veins, dulling the sharp edges of her agony. Sleep, he commands, and her body obeys before her mind can protest. The last thing she sees before darkness claims her is his face, those intense dark eyes watching her with an expression that's equal parts possession and reverence. When she wakes again, sunlight streams through the windows. Her mouth tastes like cotton and her side aches with a dull, persistent throb, but the sharp agony is gone. She turns her head carefully and finds Jae-won sitting in a chair beside the bed, watching her. He's changed clothes. Now he wears black slacks and a crisp white dress shirt, sleeves rolled up, top 2 buttons undone. His hair is slightly damp like he's recently showered. He looks fresh, powerful, and completely exhausted. You didn't sleep, she observes. I don't sleep when you're hurt. He stands, moving to the bed with predatory grace. The doctor checked you an hour ago. The wound is healing well. No infection. You were lucky. Lucky, she repeats. I got stabbed. You survived. His hand cups her face. That's all that matters. There's something in his voice, a rawness she's never heard before. It occurs to her that he might actually care. That this might be more than obsession or possession. That somewhere in his twisted psyche, he might actually love her. The thought terrifies her more than anything else. I need to use the bathroom, she says, because she needs distance, needs a moment to think without him touching her. He helps her sit up, his arms strong and steady around her waist. The movement pulls at her stitches and she gasps, clutching his shoulder. Easy, he murmurs, his lips close to her ear. I've got you. He lifts her effortlessly, cradling her against his chest like she weighs nothing. She's very aware that she's wearing only a silk nightgown, that his hands are on her bare skin, that his scent surrounds her completely. The bathroom is obscene in its luxury. All marble and gold fixtures, a shower that could fit 6 people, a bathtub that looks like a small pool. He sets her down gently near the toilet, steadying her. I can manage from here, she says. Can you? He doesn't move. I'm not going to let you watch me pee. The corner of his mouth twitches. Almost a smile. I've seen every inch of you, Naya. There's no part of you I don't know intimately. Heat floods her face. That was 3 years ago. I remember it like yesterday. His thumb traces her lower lip. I remember exactly how you taste. How you sound when you come. How you feel wrapped around me. Her breathing stutters. Stop. Why? Because it reminds you that you're not as unaffected as you pretend. He leans closer, his mouth a breath away from hers. Because it makes you remember that you wanted me just as much as I wanted you. That was before I knew what you were. I haven't changed, Naya. You just see me clearly now. His hand slides to the back of her neck. And you're still here. Still responding to my touch. Still looking at me like you can't decide if you want to run or surrender. I want you to leave so I can pee. This time he does smile, and it's devastating. As you wish. He backs away, giving her space but not leaving the bathroom. Just turning to face the door, his back to her. It's both gentlemanly and possessive. Giving her privacy while making it clear he's not going anywhere. She takes care of business quickly, her hands shaking slightly. When she's done, she washes her hands and catches sight of herself in the mirror. She looks like hell. Her natural hair is a mess, her skin is ashen, and there are dark circles under her eyes. The nightgown is beautiful but clearly his. Probably something he had waiting for a woman he planned to bring here. The thought makes something ugly twist in her chest. Jealousy. She has no right to it. But there it is anyway. There's no one else, Jae-won says without turning around. Like he can read her thoughts. There hasn't been since you. 3 years, Naya. 3 years of business deals and blood and power plays, but no women in my bed. Because the only woman I want has been running from me. She doesn't know what to say to that. Doesn't know how to process the implication that he's been celibate for 3 years because of her. I need to lie down, she says finally. He turns, and the concern in his eyes feels genuine. He lifts her again, carrying her back to the bed with the same careful gentleness. This time when he sets her down, he climbs in beside her, pulling her carefully against his chest. "What are you doing?" she asks, even as her body relaxes into him. "Holding what's mine." His arm wraps around her waist, mindful of her injury. "Get used to it, Naya. I'm not letting you go again." She should protest, should maintain boundaries. But his heartbeat is steady against her back, his warmth seeping into her bones, and for the first time in 3 years, she feels completely safe. It's terrifying how right it feels. "Your uncle wants me dead," she says quietly. "My uncle wants a lot of things he's not going to get." There's steel in his voice. "Including my empire. He's your family. You're my family." The words are simple, absolute. Blood doesn't mean loyalty, Naya. It just means shared genetics. You, though. You're the only thing I've ever wanted to protect more than I want power. The confession hangs in the air between them, heavy with implication. "You don't know me," she whispers. "Not really. We had 3 months together 3 years ago. That's not enough too. I know everything about you." His lips brush her temple. "I know you're from Lagos, but you moved to London when you were 12. I know your mother died when you were 16, and your father remarried someone you couldn't stand. I know you put yourself through university working 3 jobs. I know you came to Seoul because you wanted to disappear from a life that felt too small." She goes rigid in his arms. "How?" "I told you. I've been watching you, learning you. The past 3 years haven't been about letting you go, Naya. They've been about understanding exactly who you are so that when I brought you home, there would be no more running. It should feel like a violation. It does feel like a violation. But underneath the anger is something else. Something that feels dangerously like being cherished. I hate you, she says, but the words lack conviction. I know. His hand splays across her stomach, possessive and gentle. Hate me if you need to. Fight me if it makes you feel better. But understand this. You are never leaving this penthouse unless I'm with you. You are never out of my sight again. And anyone who tries to hurt you will die screaming. A shiver runs through her that has nothing to do with fear. Why me? She asks. You could have anyone. Models, actresses, women who actually belong in your world. Why are you so obsessed with me? The silence stretches for a long moment. When he finally speaks, his voice is raw, unguarded in a way she's never heard. Because when I look at you, I feel human, he says quietly. Because you looked at me 3 years ago and saw something worth saving instead of something to fear. Because when you touch me, I don't feel like a monster. I feel like a man. Her throat tightens. Jae-won, I've spent my entire life being what my family needed me to be. Cold. Ruthless. Willing to do whatever it takes to maintain power. And then you walked into my club in that red dress and looked at me like I was just a man. Not a crime lord. Not a killer. Just a man you might want to know. He presses his face into her hair, and she feels him breathe her in like she's oxygen. You made me want to be better, he continues. And when you left, when you ran because you finally saw what I really was, I understood. I let you go because you deserved the choice. But I also knew that the world is too dangerous for you to survive without me. That eventually you'd need me. And I'd be there. That's insane. Probably. His arm tightens fractionally around her. But it's the truth. She wants to argue. Wants to maintain that she doesn't need him. That she was fine without him. But the knife wound in her side is proof that he's right. The moment his protection wavered, she became prey. What happens now? She asks. Now you heal. You rest. And I handle my uncle. The casual way he says it sends ice through her veins. What does that mean? It means he made a mistake targeting you. And I don't forgive mistakes like that. You're going to kill him. Yes. No hesitation. No remorse. He tried to take you from me. There's no coming back from that. She should be horrified. Should demand he show mercy, find another way. But she's learning that in his world, mercy is currency you can't afford to spend. When? Soon. His lips brush her shoulder. But not today. Today is about you. Making sure you're safe. Making sure you understand that you're home now. Home. The word settles over her like a blanket. This penthouse, this bed, this man. Home. 3 years ago, she would have fought the idea. But 3 years of running, of looking over her shoulder, of building a life on sand that could wash away at any moment, has taught her something. Freedom is an illusion. Safety is the only thing that matters. And the most dangerous man in Seoul is offering her both, wrapped in silk sheets and possessive hands. I'm still angry, she says, because she needs him to know she's not just surrendering. I know. His hand slides up to cup her breast through the thin nightgown, and her breath catches. Be angry. Fight me. Make me work for every inch of your trust. But do it here where I can protect you. Where I can touch you. Where you're mine. His thumb brushes over her nipple, and she can't stop the small sound that escapes her throat. Your body remembers me, he murmurs against her neck. Even if your mind wants to resist, your body knows who it belongs to. She wants to argue, but he's not wrong. Her skin feels electrified everywhere he touches. Heat pools between her thighs. Her nipples tighten into peaks that ache for more. I'm injured, she manages. I know, which is why I'm only touching you like this. Reminding you, when you're healed, his teeth graze her earlobe. When you're healed, Naya, I'm going to make you remember everything. Every sound you make. Every way I can take you apart. Every reason you're mine. Her breathing is ragged now, her body betraying her completely. But for now, he continues, his hand gentling, moving back to rest on her stomach. You rest. You heal. And you let me take care of you. She closes her eyes, torn between gratitude and frustration. He's giving her space while making it clear that space is temporary. That eventually, inevitably, they're going to finish what started 3 years ago. I need to call someone, she says. Let them know I'm okay. I have a job, an apartment. People will notice I'm gone. Already handled. His voice is matter-of-fact. Your landlord has been paid through the end of the year. Your job received notice that you had a family emergency and won't be returning. Your apartment has been packed and your belongings are in the guest room. She turns in his arms, ignoring the protest from her wound. You what? I told you. You're not leaving. Which means I handled the logistics of your old life, so you wouldn't worry about them. You can't just. I can. I did. His eyes meet hers, unapologetic. You're angry. I understand. But understand this, Naya. I've spent 3 years preparing for this moment. Every detail has been considered. Every loose end tied. Your life now is here with me. The sooner you accept that, the easier this will be. She should be furious. Should demand her freedom, her autonomy. But looking into his eyes, seeing the absolute certainty there, she realizes something. He's not giving her a choice because in his mind, there is no choice. She belongs to him, and that's simply a fact of existence now. The terrifying part is how much of her wants to accept it. The days blur together in a haze of painkillers and silk sheets and Jae-won's constant presence. He works from the bedroom, laptop balanced on his knees, phone pressed to his ear speaking rapid Korean that she only half understands. But his free hand never leaves her. Always touching. Her ankle, her hip, her hair. Like he needs the physical contact to confirm she's real. The doctor visits twice a day. An older woman named Dr. Shin who examines Naya's wound with professional efficiency and knowing eyes. She never asks questions. Never comments on the obvious possessiveness of the man who hovers during every examination. Just does her job and leaves. On the 3rd day, Naya is finally allowed to shower. Jae-won carries her to the bathroom despite her protests that she can walk. Your stitches, he says, setting her down gently on the marble bench in the massive shower. Dr. Shin said no strain. A few steps isn't strain. To me it is. He's already turning on the water, adjusting the temperature with careful precision. Steam fills the space, warm and inviting. She expects him to leave. Instead, he starts unbuttoning his shirt. What are you doing? Her voice comes out higher than intended. Making sure you don't fall. He shrugs out of the shirt, revealing the body she remembers in dreams. Lean muscle, golden skin, and scars. So many scars. Evidence of a life lived in violence. I'm not going to fall. Probably not. His hands move to his belt. But I'm not taking chances with you. She should look away as he strips, should maintain some boundary. But her eyes betray her, tracking the reveal of skin and muscle and the evidence that he's as affected by this as she is. He's aroused. Visibly, impressively aroused. And he makes no effort to hide it. 3 years, he says, catching her stare. 3 years of wanting you and settling for my hand and memories. So yes, Naya, seeing you naked again is affecting me. But I'm not going to touch you. Not until you're healed. Not until you ask me to. The last part surprises her. You think I'm going to ask? I know you are. He steps into the shower, water sluicing over his body. Because you want me as much as I want you. You're just not ready to admit it yet. He reaches for her nightgown, and she lets him pull it over her head. His eyes darken as he takes her in, the curves he remembers, the skin he's touched in dreams. But true to his word, he doesn't reach for her. Just guides her under the spray with hands on her shoulders. The hot water feels like heaven. She tilts her head back, letting it run through her hair, wash away days of sweat and fear and confusion. Jae-won's hands are gentle as he works shampoo through her curls, his fingers massaging her scalp with devastating tenderness. She closes her eyes, giving in to the sensation. It feels good. It feels right. It feels like surrender. I used to imagine this, he murmurs, conditioning her hair with the same careful attention. Taking care of you. Learning what you like. Making you feel good in ways that have nothing to do with sex. This has everything to do with sex. Her voice is breathless. Does it? His hands move to her shoulders, kneading the tension there. Or does it have to do with intimacy? With trust? With you understanding that I want all of you, not just your body? She doesn't have an answer for that. He washes her with a gentleness that makes her chest ache. Careful around her wound, thorough everywhere else. His touch is clinical and reverent all at once. When he's done, he wraps her in a towel that's soft as clouds and carries her back to the bedroom. Fresh sheets. He changed them while she was in the shower. I can dress myself, she says as he reaches for another nightgown. I know. He slides it over her head anyway. But I want to do it. She lets him care for her in ways she's never let anyone care for her before. And when he climbs into bed beside her, pulling her against his chest, she doesn't protest. Tell me about your uncle, she says into the comfortable silence. His body tenses. Why? Because he tried to kill me. I think I deserve to know who wants me dead. Jae-won is quiet for a long moment. Then he sighs, his breath stirring her hair. Kang Sung-ho is my father's younger brother. 10 years ago, when my father died, the organization was supposed to pass to him. But my father's will named me instead. I was 23, barely out of university, and suddenly in charge of an empire. Your uncle didn't take it well. He smiled and bowed and called me boss while plotting my downfall from day one. Bitterness colors his voice. For a decade, I've been watching my back, knowing he's waiting for any sign of weakness. Any opportunity to take what he thinks belongs to him. And I'm a sign of weakness. You're the only thing I've ever cared about more than power. His arm tightens around her. Which makes you the perfect weapon against me. Kill you, break me. A broken leader can be replaced. The logic is cold and brutal and makes perfect sense. So what do you do? She asks. Just wait for him to try again? No. The word is final. I end it. Permanently. When? Soon. He presses a kiss to her temple. Very soon. That night, she dreams of blood and gunfire and a man with cold eyes holding a knife. She wakes gasping, clutching at sheets that are damp with sweat. I'm here. Jae-won's voice cuts through the panic. His arms wrap around her, solid and real. You're safe. I'm here. She buries her face in his chest, breathing in his scent, using it to anchor herself to reality. I saw him. The man with the knife. He's dead. Jae-won's hand strokes her hair. They're all dead. They can't hurt you. But your uncle will be dealt with. He tilts her face up, his eyes fierce even in the darkness. I promise you, Naya. No one will ever hurt you again. I'll burn this entire city down before I let anyone touch you. The intensity of his vow should frighten her. Instead, it makes her feel safer than she's felt in years. She kisses him. It's impulsive, desperate, but she needs it. Needs the reminder that she's alive, that he's real, that this protection he promises isn't just words. He freezes for a heartbeat, then groans and takes over the kiss. His mouth is demanding, claiming, like he's pouring 3 years of want into this moment. His hand cups the back of her head, angling her exactly how he wants her. When they break apart, they're both breathing hard. You're not healed, he says, but his voice is rough with want. I know. She can feel him against her hip, hard and ready. I just needed. I know what you needed. He presses his forehead to hers. And when you're healed, when Dr. Shin clears you, I'm going to give you everything you need and more. But not like this. Not when you're hurting. The restraint costs him. She can see it in the tension of his jaw, the tightness around his eyes. But he means it. He's not going to take what she's offering, not until she's whole. It makes her want him more. Sleep, he commands, settling her back against his chest. I'll keep the nightmares away. And somehow, impossibly, he does. By the 5th day, she's going stir-crazy. The penthouse is beautiful, luxurious beyond anything she's ever experienced, but it's still a cage. Floor-to-ceiling windows show her a city she can't access, a life she can't touch. I need to go outside, she tells Jae-won over breakfast. He's insisted on eating every meal with her, either in bed or at the small table by the windows. This morning it's the table, and she's actually dressed in real clothes. Leggings and an oversized sweater that she suspects is his. Not yet. He doesn't look up from his phone. Dr. Shin says another week before you're cleared for activity. A walk is an activity. It's basic human movement. A walk makes you visible. Visible makes you a target. Now he does look up, his eyes hard. My uncle knows you're alive. He's looking for confirmation, for an opportunity to finish what he started. I'm not giving him that opportunity. So I'm supposed to just stay locked in here forever? Not forever. He sets down his phone, giving her his full attention. Just until the threat is eliminated. And when will that be? Tonight. The single word drops like a stone into still water. She stares at him, processing. Tonight. There's a meeting. The family heads, my uncle included. It's been called to discuss territory disputes, but really it's about power. My uncle has been gathering support, making promises, positioning himself to challenge me. Jae-won's smile is sharp enough to cut. He doesn't know I'm aware. Doesn't know I've been 3 steps ahead of him for months. What are you going to do? What needs to be done? He reaches across the table, taking her hand. And when it's over, you'll be safe. Truly safe. No more threats. No more looking over your shoulder. You're going to kill him. It's not a question. Yes. No hesitation. No apology. Him and everyone who supported his play for power. I'm going to send a message that will echo through every organization in Asia. Touch what's mine and you die. No exceptions. No mercy. The cold certainty in his voice should terrify her. Instead, it makes her feel protected in a way she's never experienced. I don't want you to die, she says quietly. His expression softens. I won't. I promise you, Naya. I'm coming back to you. How can you be sure? Because I have something to live for now. He brings her hand to his lips. You. And I'm not losing you again. He leaves at sunset. Before he goes, he comes to the bedroom where she's curled up with a book, trying not to think about what he's about to do. He's dressed for war. All black, a suit that probably costs more than a car, but there's something underneath it. She can see the outline of a shoulder holster, the bulge of a weapon at his ankle. Miho will be here, he says. 4 men outside the penthouse, 6 more in the building. If anything happens, if you feel unsafe for even a second, you call me. Understand? She nods, her throat tight. He crosses to the bed, cupping her face in his hands. I will come back to you, he says fiercely. I survived a decade in this world. I'm not going to die now that I finally have you back. Promise me. Her hands clutch at his jacket. Promise me you'll be careful. I promise. He kisses her, slow and deep and full of unspoken words. When he pulls back, his eyes are burning. And when I come back, when this is over, we're going to talk about our future. About what comes next. About making this permanent. Jae-won, think about it while I'm gone. He kisses her forehead. Think about what you want. Because I already know what I want. You. Forever. In every way that matters. Then he's gone, the door closing with a soft click that feels like a gunshot. The hours crawl by. She tries to read, to watch television, to do anything but imagine what's happening across the city. But her mind conjures images anyway. Jae-won walking into a room full of men who want him dead. Gunfire. Blood. His body crumpling to the floor. She's going to be sick. Around midnight, her phone buzzes. A message from an unknown number. He's walking into a trap. If you want him to survive, you'll come alone. Address below. Her blood turns to ice. It could be a lie. Could be someone trying to lure her out, to use her against Jae-won exactly like he feared. But what if it's not? What if he's really in danger, and she's the only one who can warn him? Another message. A photo. Jae-won in a warehouse, surrounded by men with guns. The angle suggests someone is watching from above, hidden. Waiting. Her hands shake as she types back. Who is this? Someone who doesn't want to see the Kang Empire destroyed by civil war. Come alone or he dies. You have 20 minutes. She should call Miho. Should alert the security team. But if this person is watching, if they see her making calls, they might execute whatever plan they have immediately. 20 minutes. That's not enough time to think, to plan, to do anything but react. She grabs a jacket and slips out of the bedroom. The apartment is quiet. Too quiet. Where are the guards Jae-won promised? Where's Miho? The answer hits her like a fist. They're gone. Someone pulled them away, created a window. This was planned. She should go back. Should lock herself in the bedroom and wait for Jae-won to return. But the image of him surrounded, outnumbered, flashes through her mind. She can't lose him. Not now. Not when she's finally admitting to herself that she never stopped loving him. The elevator ride down feels eternal. When the doors open to the lobby, it's empty. No doorman, no security. Just gleaming marble and silence. A car waits outside. Black sedan, engine running. The back door opens and a woman steps out. Dr. Shin. Get in, the doctor says, her voice urgent. We don't have much time. You sent the messages? Naya's mind is reeling. I'm trying to save both of you. Now get in the car before someone sees. Every instinct screams that this is wrong. But the clock is ticking and Jae-won is in danger and she's out of options. She gets in the car. The warehouse is in an industrial area near the Han River. Empty buildings and broken street lights and shadows deep enough to hide an army. The driver, a man she doesn't recognize, parks a block away. He's inside, Dr. Shin says, pulling out a phone and showing Naya a live feed. The same image from before, Jae-won in the center of a warehouse surrounded by armed men. But now she can see his face. He looks calm, controlled, dangerous. Why did you bring me here? Naya demands. Because Kang Sung-ho's plan isn't to kill Jae-won outright. It's to break him first. And the way to break him is to take you. Dr. Shin's expression is sympathetic but firm. He has men waiting at the penthouse. They were supposed to grab you while Jae-won was at the meeting. But I got you out first. You work for Sung-ho? I work for the organization. And the organization needs Jae-won alive and functional, not shattered by losing you. The doctor hands her a small earpiece. Put this in. You're going to walk in there, show him you're alive and safe, and give him the focus he needs to end this. You want me to walk into a warehouse full of armed men? I want you to remind him what he's fighting for. Dr. Shin's eyes are hard. Sung-ho is betting that Jae-won will hesitate, will show weakness when he thinks you're in danger. You're going to prove him wrong. This is insane. Suicidal. Everything Jae-won told her not to do. But looking at that screen, seeing him surrounded by men who want to destroy him, she knows she doesn't have a choice. If this gets him killed, Naya says quietly, I'll make sure you follow him. Dr. Shin smiles. Fair enough. Now go. And Naya? Trust him. He's been preparing for this moment for a very long time. The warehouse door is unlocked. She slips inside, her heart hammering so hard she's sure everyone can hear it. The space is massive, full of shipping containers and shadows. She follows the sound of voices, moving carefully, quietly. The scene opens up before her. 50 men, maybe more. All armed. All focused on the center of the space where Jae-won stands with Miho and 3 other men she doesn't recognize. Across from them, Kang Sung-ho. She recognizes him from photos Jae-won showed her. Older, distinguished, with cold eyes and a smile that doesn't reach them. You're outnumbered, Sung-ho is saying. Outgunned. Your loyalists are dead or paid off. It's over, nephew. Step down gracefully and I'll let you live. Jae-won laughs. Actually laughs. You think this is about numbers? About guns? Uncle, you've always misunderstood what power really is. Enlighten me. Power is knowing your enemy better than they know themselves. Jae-won's voice carries through the warehouse. It's being 10 steps ahead while they think they're in control. It's turning their own weapons against them. Brave words from a man who's about to die. Am I? Jae-won looks around the space, his expression almost bored. Tell me, uncle, how many of these men are actually loyal to you? How many did you pay? And how many did I pay more? Uncertainty flickers across Sung-ho's face. You see, I've known about your little coup for 6 months, Jae-won continues. I've watched you recruit, make promises, build your army. And the whole time, I've been buying loyalty out from under you. Half the men in this warehouse work for me. They're just waiting for my signal. You're bluffing. Am I? Jae-won's smile is terrifying. There's one way to find out. He snaps his fingers. Nothing happens for a heartbeat. Then chaos erupts. Men turn on each other, guns swinging to new targets. Shouting, confusion, and through it all, Jae-won stands perfectly still, watching his uncle's face as the betrayal becomes clear. You think you're the only one who can plan? Jae-won's voice cuts through the noise. You think I built this empire by being naive? I've been waiting for you to make your move. Giving you rope. And now, he pulls a gun from his jacket. Now you hang. Sung-ho stumbles backward, his own men abandoning him, switching sides like the mercenaries they are. You can't, I'm family. You tried to kill the woman I love. Jae-won's voice drops to something deadly. You sent men to murder her in an alley. You used her to bait me, to try to break me. You stopped being family the moment you touched what's mine. That's when Naya steps out of the shadows. She doesn't plan it, doesn't think it through. She just moves, walking into the light, into the center of the warehouse, into Jae-won's line of sight. His head snaps toward her. For one terrible moment, fear flashes across his face. Raw, unguarded terror. "Naya," he breathes. "What are you?" "I'm here." Her voice is steady despite her racing heart. "I'm alive. I'm safe. And I'm not going anywhere." The transformation is instant. The fear vanishes, replaced by something harder, colder, more focused. He looks at her like she's the only thing in the world that matters, and then he looks back at his uncle. "You lose," Jae-won says simply. The gunshot echoes through the warehouse. Sung-ho drops, a red stain spreading across his chest. He looks surprised, almost confused, and then he's gone. The silence that follows is deafening. Every man in the warehouse is frozen, waiting to see what happens next. Jae-won holsters his gun and walks toward Naya. The crowd parts for him like water. When he reaches her, his hands cup her face with devastating gentleness. "You weren't supposed to be here," he says, and there's something broken in his voice. "You were supposed to stay safe." Dr. Shin said. "I know what she said." He pulls her against his chest, his arms wrapping around her like he's trying to absorb her into his body. "She was right. Seeing you alive, knowing you're safe, it gave me the clarity I needed. But Naya," he pulls back just enough to look at her. "You could have died. If this had gone differently, if even one thing had been wrong, you could have died. But I didn't." Her hands clutch at his jacket. "And neither did you. It's over." "It's over," he agrees. Then louder to the crowd. "It's over. Kang Sung-ho is dead. His supporters will be dealt with. The rest of you, you made the right choice tonight. You'll be rewarded. Now get out." The warehouse empties quickly. Within minutes, it's just Jae-won, Naya, Miho, and a cleanup crew that appears from nowhere. "Take her home," Jae-won tells Miho. "I'll be there in an hour." "No." Naya's grip on his jacket tightens. "I'm not leaving you." "Naya, I just walked into a warehouse full of armed men because I couldn't stand the thought of losing you. I'm not leaving your side now." Something fierce and possessive flashes in his eyes. "You could have died. So could you." She meets his gaze steadily. "We could both die tomorrow. Or next week. Or 50 years from now. But I'm done running, Jae-won. I'm done pretending I don't feel what I feel. I'm done fighting this." His breath catches. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying you were right. The admission costs her, but it's also freeing. I've been yours since that first night 3 years ago. I just wasn't brave enough to accept it. But watching you tonight, seeing you in danger, I realized something. I'd rather be yours and terrified than free and without you." He kisses her then, hard and desperate and claiming. His hands tangle in her hair, holding her exactly where he wants her. When they break apart, they're both breathing hard. "Say it," he demands. "Say you're mine. I'm yours." The words feel like surrender and victory all at once. "I'm yours, Jae-won. Completely. Forever. Forever," he repeats like he's sealing a vow. "You're going to marry me. You're going to wear my ring and take my name and let the world know you belong to me." It's not a question. It's a statement of absolute certainty. And for the first time since he crashed back into her life, she doesn't want to fight it. "Yes," she whispers. The word hangs between them, heavy with promise. Then he's lifting her, cradling her against his chest like she's something precious and breakable. "We're going home," he tells Miho. "Clean this up. I want no trace by morning." "Boss." Miho nods, already pulling out his phone. The car ride back to the penthouse is silent. Jae-won holds her in his lap, his face buried in her hair, his arms locked around her like he's afraid she'll disappear. "I thought I lost you," he says finally, his voice muffled. "When I saw you standing there in the warehouse, my heart stopped. I'm sorry." She runs her fingers through his hair. Dr. Shin said. Dr. Shin was doing her job, protecting the organization by protecting us both. He pulls back to look at her. "But don't ever scare me like that again. Promise me." "I promise." She means it. "But you have to promise me something too. Anything. No more secrets. No more watching me from a distance. We do this together or not at all." His smile is small but genuine. "Together. Always." Back at the penthouse, he carries her straight to the bedroom. But instead of the passion she expects, he just holds her. They lie in the darkness, wrapped around each other, processing everything that's happened. "I need to tell you something," she says into the quiet. "What?" "I never stopped loving you. The confession is raw, honest. I ran because I was scared of what you were, of what your world meant. But I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day. His arms tighten around her. I know. How? Because I know you. He presses a kiss to her forehead. Because you're terrible at hiding your feelings. Because even when you were running, you looked back. I did, she admits. So many times. No more running. It's a command and a plea. You're home now. With me. Where you belong. Home, she repeats, testing the word. It fits better than she expected. They fall asleep like that, tangled together, the city lights casting shadows across the walls. And for the first time in 3 years, Naya doesn't dream of running. She dreams of staying. Morning comes with sunlight streaming through the windows and Jae-won's phone vibrating insistently on the nightstand. He answers without opening his eyes, his other arm still locked around Naya's waist. This better be important, he growls into the phone. Miho's voice is crisp, professional. The cleanup is complete. Sungho's supporters have been dealt with. The family heads are requesting an audience. When? Today. Noon. They want confirmation of leadership. Jae-won is silent for a moment, his thumb tracing circles on Naya's hip. Fine. Set it up. But not at the usual location. Here. The penthouse. Boss, is that wise? Bringing them to your private. They need to understand something. Jae-won's voice drops, goes cold. They need to see what I'm protecting. Why I'm willing to burn everything down if necessary. Set it up. He ends the call and pulls Naya closer. She's been awake the whole time, listening. You're bringing them here? She asks. I'm making a statement. He rolls to face her, his eyes serious. Last night changed everything. The old rules, the old hierarchy, it's done. I'm rebuilding from the ground up, and I want them to know exactly where they stand. Which is? Below you. He says it simply, like it's the most obvious thing in the world. You're going to be my wife. That makes you untouchable. Sacred. Anyone who even looks at you wrong will answer to me. The intensity in his voice makes her shiver. That's a lot of pressure. Can you handle it? It's a genuine question. She thinks about the girl who fled Seoul 3 years ago, terrified and desperate. Thinks about the woman who walked into a warehouse full of armed men last night because she couldn't lose him. She's not the same person anymore. Fear has transformed into something else. Something stronger. Yes, she says. I can handle it. His smile is devastating. I know you can. That's why I chose you. He kisses her, slow and deep, his hand sliding under her nightgown to palm her breast. She arches into the touch, a soft moan escaping. Jae-won, she breathes. Tell me to stop. His mouth moves to her neck, teeth grazing her pulse point. Tell me you're still healing, and I'll stop. She should. Dr. Shin said another week. But her body is singing with want, 3 years of denial and 5 days of restraint building to an unbearable pressure. Don't stop, she whispers. He groans against her skin. Your stitches are healing fine. She pulls his face up to look at her. I need you. Now. Please. The please breaks him. His control shatters like glass, and suddenly he's kissing her with desperate hunger, his hands everywhere, relearning the curves he's memorized in dreams. If I hurt you, he says between kisses, you tell me immediately. Understand? I understand. She's already pulling at his clothes, kneading skin against skin, needing to feel him everywhere. He's careful with her, so careful it makes her want to cry. Gentle hands removing her nightgown, reverent mouth tracing the scar on her side, murmuring apologies against her skin for every hurt she's endured. It's not your fault, she says, threading her fingers through his hair. Everything that happens to you is my responsibility. His tongue traces the curve of her breast. Your safety, your pleasure, your happiness. All of it. Mine. He takes her nipple into his mouth, and she arches off the bed, pleasure sparking through her nervous system like electricity. He works her with devastating precision, 3 years of fantasies translated into action, learning what makes her gasp, what makes her moan, what makes her beg. When his hand slides between her thighs, she's already wet, already desperate. He groans when he feels it. 3 years, he mutters, his fingers circling her clit with perfect pressure. 3 years of wondering if you touched yourself thinking about me. Did you? Yes. The admission is breathless. So many times. Good. His finger slides inside her, and she clenches around it. Because I did too. Every night for 3 years, imagining this moment. Imagining you coming apart for me again. He works her with patient skill, adding a second finger, curling them just right, his thumb on her clit maintaining perfect rhythm. She's climbing fast, pleasure building in waves that threaten to drown her. Look at me, he commands. When you come, I want to see your eyes. She forces her eyes open, meets his gaze, and the intensity there pushes her over the edge. She comes with his name on her lips, her body clenching around his fingers, pleasure whiting out her vision. He works her through it, drawing out every aftershock, until she's boneless and gasping beneath him. Beautiful, he murmurs, withdrawing his fingers and bringing them to his mouth. You taste like mine. She watches him, heat pooling again despite having just come. Jae-won, I know what you need. He positions himself between her thighs, the head of his cock pressing against her entrance. But we're doing this carefully. Slowly. I'm not risking your stitches. I don't care about. I do. He pushes in just an inch, and they both groan. God, Naya. 3 years and you're still so tight. He enters her slowly, giving her body time to adjust, his eyes never leaving hers. When he's fully seated, they both freeze, breathing hard, adjusting to the overwhelming intimacy of being connected again. Okay, he asks, his voice strained. More than okay. She wraps her legs around his waist, careful of her injury. Perfect. He starts to move slow, controlled thrusts that build pleasure gradually. It's different from 3 years ago. Back then there was passion, heat, but this is something else. This is claiming. Possession. A permanent mark being made on both their souls. I love you, he says, the words falling from his lips like he can't hold them back anymore. I've loved you since the moment I saw you. I'll love you until I die. Tears prick her eyes. I love you too. So much it terrifies me. Don't be terrified. His rhythm increases, still careful but more urgent. Be certain. Be mine. I am yours. She pulls him down for a kiss. Always. The affirmation breaks something in him. His control slips, his hips snapping harder, faster. But he's still mindful of her injury, one hand braced beside her head, the other on her hip, angling her just right so every thrust hits that perfect spot inside her. She's climbing again, impossible as it seems. Pleasure building in spirals, tightening, coiling, ready to explode. Come with me, he demands, his hand sliding between them to circle her clit. I want to feel you. The combination of his cock inside her and his fingers on her clit is too much. She shatters, crying out his name, her body clenching around him in waves. He follows her over, a groan tearing from his throat as he spills inside her, his body shaking with the force of his release. They collapse together, breathing hard, sweat-slicked skin cooling in the morning air. He's careful as he withdraws, immediately checking her wound. I'm fine, she assures him, catching his hand. Better than fine. You're perfect. He kisses her softly. And you're mine. Forever. Forever, she agrees. They shower together, his hands gentle as he washes her, mindful of her healing wound. Then he dresses her in clothes from her apartment, things he had packed and brought here. Jeans that hug her curves, a soft sweater, understated jewelry. I want them to see you as you are, he explains, fastening a delicate gold necklace around her throat. Not dressed up like a doll. Just you. Beautiful. Real. Mine. She watches him in the mirror as he works, this dangerous man treating her like something precious. Are you nervous? About the meeting? He considers. No. They'll fall in line or they'll be removed. There's no third option. That's simple. That's simple. He turns her to face him. But I need you to understand something. These men, they're dangerous. Ruthless. They've built empires on blood and fear. When they see you, they're going to understand that you're my weakness and my strength. They're going to look for ways to use that. So what do? You be yourself. He cups her face. You be strong, honest, unafraid. You show them that you're not a victim to be manipulated. You're a queen to be respected. I'm not a queen. You are now. He kisses her forehead. The moment you agreed to be mine, you became the most powerful woman in Seoul's underworld. Own it. The meeting is set for noon, but preparations start hours earlier. Miho arrives with a security team that sweeps the penthouse for threats. Furniture is rearranged, creating a formal seating area. Guards are posted at every entrance. Naya watches from the bedroom, her stomach tight with nerves. This is real. This is happening. She's about to meet the heads of Seoul's criminal organizations, the men who control everything from drugs to politicians to entire districts. You don't have to be there, Jae-won says, coming up behind her and wrapping his arms around her waist. I can do this alone. No. She leans back against him. You said we do this together. I meant it. You're sure? I'm terrified. She turns in his arms. But I'm sure. His smile is proud. That's my girl. At exactly noon they arrive. 7 men, each representing a different organization. They come with bodyguards, with gifts, with carefully neutral expressions. Miho escorts them to the seating area, offers drinks, makes small talk. Jae-won makes them wait. It's a power play, and Naya recognizes it for what it is. Let them sit in his space, drink his whiskey, wonder what's coming. When he finally enters, Naya at his side, the atmosphere shifts. Every eye turns to them, assessing, calculating. She feels naked under their scrutiny but keeps her spine straight, her expression calm. Jae-won guides her to a chair positioned slightly apart from the others, a throne in all but name. Then he addresses the room. Thank you for coming. His voice is cool, controlled. Last night, Kang Sung-ho attempted a coup. He failed. He's dead, along with everyone who supported him. I'm sure you've all heard by now. Heads nod. Murmurs of acknowledgement. What you might not know, Jae-won continues, is that his primary weapon was meant to be personal. He sent men to murder someone I care about, to use that pain as leverage against me. All eyes flick to Naya. She feels the weight of their attention like a physical thing. He miscalculated. Jae-won's hand rests on Naya's shoulder, possessive and protective. Because while I do love this woman, while losing her would destroy me, it would also unleash something none of you want to face. A version of me with nothing left to lose. A man who would burn Seoul to the ground just to watch it suffer with me. The silence is absolute. So let me be very clear. Jae-won's eyes sweep the room, hard as diamonds. Naya Laurent is under my protection. She will be my wife. Any threat against her, any disrespect, any attempt to use her as leverage will be met with total war. I will not negotiate. I will not show mercy. I will simply destroy you and everything you've built. One of the older men, someone Miho identified earlier as Park Dong-wook, head of the Busan territory, clears his throat. With respect, making your personal attachments known like this, it makes you vulnerable. Does it? Jae-won's smile is sharp. Or does it make me unpredictable? Sung-ho thought he understood me. He thought I'd be paralyzed by fear for her safety. Instead, I used his plan against him, turned his own people, and executed him in front of 50 witnesses. Because I wasn't afraid. I was focused. On revenge, another man says. Kim something. Drugs and trafficking in Incheon. On protection. Jae-won's hand tightens on Naya's shoulder. There's a difference. Revenge is emotion. Protection is strategy. And I'm very good at strategy. Park leans forward. What do you want from us? Loyalty. Same as always. Jae-won moves to stand in front of Naya's chair, a living shield between her and the world. But understand that the old rules have changed. Under my uncle's influence, this organization became sloppy. Greedy. We trafficked people, dealt in drugs that destroy communities, took territories through unnecessary violence. That's the business, Kim interrupts. It was the business. Jae-won's voice drops, goes cold. Under my leadership, we're transitioning. Legitimate enterprises with carefully managed underground operations. No more human trafficking. No more drugs that target children. No more wars that draw government attention. You're going soft, someone mutters. I'm going smart. Jae-won doesn't raise his voice, but the temperature in the room drops. Look at what happened last night. My uncle had 50 men. I had information and strategy. Which one of us survived? The point lands. She can see it in their faces. You want to run your territories the old way, fine, Jae-won continues. But understand that if your operations bring heat down on the rest of us, if you endanger what I'm building, you'll be removed. Not as punishment, as practicality. Park studies Jae-won for a long moment. Then his eyes shift to Naya. And her? What role does she play in this new organization? Naya's heart hammers. This is her moment. The test Jae-won warned her about. She stands, moving to stand beside Jae-won. Not behind him. Beside him. I'm not involved in operations, she says, her voice steady despite her nerves. I have no interest in territory or trafficking or any of the business that happens in shadows. But I am involved in his life, which means I'm a factor you need to consider. How so? Kim asks, not hostile but genuinely curious. Because if something happens to me, you don't just lose a leader's wife. You lose the man who's kept this organization stable for a decade. She meets his eyes. Jae-won said losing me would destroy him. He's wrong. It would destroy all of you. Because the version of him that exists after my death wouldn't be interested in strategy or legitimacy or careful management. He'd be interested in making the world hurt as much as he does. The silence that follows is heavy with consideration. So it's in your best interest, Naya continues, to make sure I stay very safe. To make sure no threat ever reaches me. To make sure the man you depend on for leadership remains focused and controlled instead of broken and vengeful. Park starts to laugh. It's unexpected, booming, genuine. She's right. God help us, but she's right. He stands, raising his glass. To the new order. And to the woman smart enough to keep our boss sane. The others stand, one by one. Raising glasses. Acknowledging the shift. Jae-won's hand finds Naya's, their fingers intertwining. She can feel his pride radiating through the touch. The meeting continues for another hour. Discussions of territory, of operations, of transitions that need to happen. Naya stays silent, listening, learning. Understanding the world she's chosen to enter. When the men finally leave, when it's just her and Jae-won and Miho cleaning up glasses, she feels exhausted and exhilarated all at once. You were perfect, Jae-won says, pulling her into his arms. Absolutely perfect. I was terrified. I know, but you didn't show it. He kisses her temple. You stood there like you owned the room. Like you were born to be by my side. Maybe I was. The words surprise her, but they feel true. Maybe everything that happened, all the pain and running and fear, maybe it was all leading to this moment. I believe that. His arms tighten around her. I have to believe that, because otherwise the cost was too high. What cost? 3 years without you. 3 years of watching from a distance instead of holding you. 3 years of wondering if you'd ever forgive me for what I am. She pulls back to look at him. I forgive you. For being what you are. For doing what you do. For everything. Because I understand now. You're not a monster. You're just a man trying to survive in a world that doesn't forgive weakness. And you? I'm the woman who chose to stand beside him. She smiles. For better or worse. We should make that official. He releases her, reaching into his pocket. When his hand emerges, he's holding a small velvet box. Her breath catches. I've had this for 3 years, he says, opening the box to reveal a ring. It's stunning, a deep blue sapphire surrounded by diamonds, set in platinum. I bought it a week after you left. I told myself I'd give it to you when you came back. When you understood that running didn't work. That we belonged together. Jae-won, I know we did this backward. He takes the ring from the box. I know I should have courted you properly, given you time, made this romantic. But we've never been conventional. And I don't want to wait another day to make you mine in every legal sense. He drops to one knee, and her heart stops. Naya Laurent, he says, his voice rough with emotion. Will you marry me? Will you stand beside me, challenge me, love me, and let me spend the rest of my life protecting you and worshiping you and making sure you never regret choosing me? Tears stream down her face. Yes. Yes, 1,000 times yes. He slides the ring onto her finger, and it fits perfectly. Of course it does. He's been planning this for 3 years. When he stands, he lifts her, spinning her around, his laugh bright with joy. You're mine now. Officially. Completely. I was always yours. She cups his face. I just needed time to accept it. He kisses her, deep and claiming, and she tastes forever on his lips. That night, they celebrate privately. Dinner in the penthouse, just the two of them. Jae-won cooks, which surprises her. I learned for you, he admits, plating pasta with expert precision. I wanted to be able to take care of you in small ways. Make you meals. Learn your favorite foods. Be more than just a criminal with money. You're so much more than that. She watches him work, this powerful man nervous about impressing her with carbonara. You always have been. Over dinner, they talk about the future. Not just the wedding, though he has opinions about that too. But the life they'll build together. I want you to finish your degree, he says. Whatever you were studying before you ran, go back to it. I'll pay for everything. You can attend classes, build a career. I won't keep you locked in this penthouse like a trophy. What if I want to be involved in the legitimate businesses? The question has been forming in her mind all day. You said you're transitioning. I have a degree in international business. I could help. His eyes light up. You'd want that. I want to be partners. In everything. She reaches across the table, taking his hand. Not just your wife. You're equal. You're already my equal. He brings her hand to his lips. But yes, I'd love your help. Your perspective. Your brilliance. They plan late into the night. The wedding will be small, private. Just people they trust. No media, no spectacle. A legal ceremony to bind them together, followed by a reception where the organization will acknowledge her as his wife. "I want to meet your family," Naya says as they're getting ready for bed. "Your mother, your cousins." Everyone Sung-ho wasn't. Jae-won pauses, his expression complicated. "My mother won't approve. She's traditional. Conservative. She wanted me to marry a nice Korean girl from a good family. And instead you got me. Instead I got everything I ever wanted." He pulls her close. "But yes, we'll visit her. Let her see that I'm happy. That you make me whole. She'll come around. Eventually." They make love again that night, slower this time. Learning each other without urgency, without fear. Just two people committing to forever through touch and breath and whispered promises. As Naya falls asleep in his arms, the ring heavy on her finger, she thinks about the girl who ran 3 years ago. The girl who thought freedom was distance and safety was isolation. She was wrong. Freedom is choice. And safety is being loved by someone who will destroy the world before they let it hurt you. She chose right. Finally, impossibly, she chose right. The next 2 weeks blur together in a whirlwind of preparation and transformation. Naya's stitches come out on day 7. Dr. Shin pronouncing her fully healed with a knowing smile that suggests she's aware of exactly how thoroughly Jae-won has been testing those stitches. The penthouse becomes a war room of a different kind. Wedding planners, security consultants, lawyers drafting prenuptial agreements that Naya refuses to sign. "I don't want your money," she tells Jae-won for the 3rd time as his attorney tries to explain the necessity. "It's not about want. It's about protection." Jae-won dismisses the attorney with a wave. "If something happens to me, you need to be secure. Nothing's going to happen to you." "Naya." He takes her hands, his expression serious. "I live in a world where tomorrow isn't guaranteed. I need to know that if I die, you'll be protected. Wealthy enough that no one can touch you. Powerful enough that my enemies will think twice." The thought of losing him makes her chest tight. "Don't talk about dying. I'm not planning on it." He kisses her forehead. "But I'm planning for every possibility. That's how I've survived this long. That's how I'll keep surviving. For you." She signs the prenup. Not because she cares about his money, but because it brings him peace. And his peace matters more than her pride. The visit to his mother happens on a gray Thursday afternoon. The Kang family estate is in Gangnam, a sprawling traditional Hanok compound that speaks of old money and older power. Jae-won is tense the entire drive, his jaw tight, his hand gripping hers almost painfully. "She's difficult," he warns as they pull through the gates. "Traditional. She won't understand why I chose you. Because you love me?" To her, love is irrelevant. Marriage is about alliances, bloodlines, power. He brings her hand to his lips. "But I don't care what she thinks. I'm not asking her permission. I'm informing her of a fact. The woman who greets them is elegant and cold. Kang Min-seo is in her 60s, but looks a decade younger. Perfectly styled silver hair, traditional hanbok in muted colors, and eyes that assess Naya like she's livestock being evaluated for purchase. "Mother." Jae-won bows respectfully. "This is Naya Laurent. My fiancé." Min-seo's expression doesn't change. "I heard about your uncle, and about the girl he tried to kill. I didn't realize they were connected. Everything is connected." Jae-won's arm wraps around Naya's waist, possessive and protective. "She's the reason I ended him. The reason I restructured the entire organization. The reason I'm standing here at all." "How dramatic." Min-seo turns, gesturing for them to follow. "Come inside. We'll have tea." The tea ceremony is excruciating. Min-seo asks pointed questions about Naya's family, her education, her background. Each answer seems to deepen her disapproval. "You're American," she observes, like it's a disease. "Nigerian-British, technically. But I've lived in America, yes." Naya keeps her voice pleasant despite the hostility radiating across the table. "And your family? What do they do?" "My mother was a teacher. She died when I was 16. My father is a civil engineer. He remarried and lives in London now. No prestigious lineage. No political connections. No wealth." Min-seo sips her tea delicately. "Tell me, what exactly do you bring to this marriage besides pretty features?" Jae-won's hand slams down on the table, rattling the cups. "Enough. I'm simply asking. You're insulting her. In front of me. In my presence." His voice is deadly quiet. "I brought her here as a courtesy, mother. To introduce the woman I love. Not to subject her to your judgment." "Love." Min-seo's laugh is bitter. "You sound like your father. He loved a woman once before me. A dancer. Beautiful, inappropriate, completely unsuitable. Your grandfather forbade it. Made him marry me instead. For the family. For the organization. The revelation hangs in the air. Jae-won's expression is carefully blank. Your father learned to be content, Minicio continues. We built a partnership based on respect and duty. We raised you to lead. And now you're throwing it all away for, she gestures at Naya dismissively, for everything that matters. Jae-won stands, pulling Naya with him. I'm not my father. I'm not sacrificing my happiness for tradition or duty or the organization. I'm building something better. Something that doesn't require me to die inside to maintain. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is thinking you'd be happy for me. He bows formally, the gesture cold and final. We're leaving. When you're ready to treat my wife with respect, you're welcome in our home. Until then, we're done. Naya barely processes the walk back to the car. Jae-won is vibrating with rage, his usual control shattered. The moment they're inside, he pulls her into his lap, burying his face in her neck. I'm sorry, he mutters. I'm so sorry. I should have known she'd be like that. It's okay. She runs her fingers through his hair. I knew it wouldn't be easy. It's not okay. He pulls back to look at her, and there are tears in his eyes. Actual tears. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. You make me want to be better. And she treated you like you're nothing. I'm not nothing. Naya cups his face. I'm yours. That's all that matters. You're everything. He kisses her desperately. My mother is wrong. My father was wrong to give up his happiness. I won't make the same mistake. You won't have to. She kisses him back, pouring reassurance into the touch. Because I'm not going anywhere. Your mother can disapprove all she wants. I'm still marrying you. The drive back to the penthouse is quiet. Jae-won holds her hand the entire time, his thumb tracing circles on her palm like he needs the constant reminder that she's real. That night, he makes love to her with an intensity that borders on desperation. Like he's trying to prove something, to himself or to her or to the universe. That she's his. That she chose him. That nothing can take her away. Afterward, wrapped in sheets in each other, he finally speaks. My father killed himself, he says quietly. When I was 22. Everyone thinks it was a heart attack, but I found the note. He couldn't live with the regrets anymore. All the choices he made for duty instead of himself. All the years spent with the wrong woman, building the wrong life. Naya's chest tightens. Jae-won. I promised myself I wouldn't end up like him. His arms tighten around her. That I wouldn't sacrifice what matters for appearances or tradition or power. That when I found something real, someone real, I'd fight for it with everything I have. You are fighting for it. She kisses his chest, right over his heart. You fought your uncle. You fought your organization. You're fighting your mother. You're the bravest person I know. I don't feel brave. His voice cracks. I feel terrified. Every moment of every day. Terrified I'll lose you. Terrified I'll fail you. Terrified I'll become my father, drowning in regret and unable to escape. Then don't become him. She shifts to look at him, forcing him to meet her eyes. Choose differently. Choose happiness. Choose me. Every day, for the rest of our lives, choose me. I will. The vow is fierce, absolute. Every day. Every moment. Every breath. I choose you. They fall asleep tangled together, and for the first time since the visit to his mother, Jae-won's breathing evens out into something peaceful. The wedding is planned for Saturday. 5 days away. Naya doesn't have friends in Seoul, no family to invite. It bothers her less than it should. This wedding isn't about tradition or spectacle. It's about binding herself to the man who saved her life and claimed her heart. Jae-won handles everything. The venue, a small private garden in the penthouse complex. The officiant, a judge who owes him favors. The guests, limited to Miho and a handful of trusted lieutenants. The dress. The dress arrives 3 days before the wedding. Naya opens the box alone while Jae-won is in meetings, and her breath catches. It's perfect. Simple ivory silk that will hug her curves, with delicate lace sleeves and a neckline that's elegant without being conservative. Not a traditional wedding gown. Something better. Something her. She's trying it on when Jae-won returns early. He stops in the doorway, his expression arrested. You weren't supposed to see me in it before the wedding, she says, reaching for the zipper. Don't. He crosses the room, his movements predatory. Don't take it off. Let me look at you. She drops her hands, letting him circle her, his eyes devouring every inch. When he's made a complete rotation, he pulls her against him, his hands spanning her waist. You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, he murmurs against her ear. And in 3 days, you'll be my wife. Legally, officially, permanently mine. I'm already yours. I know, but I want the world to know. His mouth traces her neck. I want legal documentation. I want your name changed to Kang. I want a marriage certificate that says you belong to me and I belong to you. Possessive. Completely. He spins her to face him. I spent 3 years letting you go. I'm never making that mistake again. You're mine, Naya. Forever. And I need every possible way to prove it. She should be annoyed by his intensity. Instead, it makes her feel cherished. Wanted. Loved with a completeness she never imagined. 3 more days, she whispers. 3 more days. He kisses her, careful not to disturb the dress. And then nothing will ever separate us again. The night before the wedding, Naya can't sleep. Nerves and excitement tangle in her stomach, making rest impossible. She slips out of bed, leaving Jae-won sleeping, and wanders to the windows. Seoul glitters below, millions of lights representing millions of lives. A year ago, she was one anonymous person in that crowd, trying to disappear, trying to survive. Now she's about to become the wife of the most powerful man in the city's underworld. Second thoughts. Jae-won's voice comes from behind her. She turns to find him watching from the bed, his eyes alert despite the late hour. No, just thinking about how much has changed. He rises, crossing to wrap his arms around her from behind. Are you happy? Terrified and happy. She leans into him. Is that normal? I'm terrified too. His confession surprises her. I'm terrified I'll fail you. That something will happen, and I won't be able to protect you. That you'll wake up one day and realize you made a mistake. Never. She turns in his arms. You saved my life, Jae-won. You could have let me die in that alley. Could have decided I wasn't worth the trouble. But you didn't. You killed 6 men with your bare hands because they dared to hurt me. That's not something I'll ever forget or regret. They hurt you because of me. The guilt in his voice is raw. Because you were mine and they wanted to hurt me. And you ended them. She takes his face in her hands. You protected me. You're still protecting me. That's all that matters. I love you. The words are simple but weighted with everything he can't articulate. More than power. More than the organization. More than my own life. I love you too. She kisses him softly. Now come back to bed. We have a wedding tomorrow, and I want my husband to be well rested. Husband. He tastes the word, smiling. I like the sound of that. They return to bed, wrapped around each other, and this time sleep comes easily. Peaceful. Right. The wedding day dawns clear and bright. Naya wakes alone, finds a note on Jae-won's pillow. Tradition says I'm not supposed to see you before the ceremony. I'm following at least one rule. The stylist will be there at noon. I'll see you at 3. I love you. Always. Jae. The stylist is a tiny woman named Sun-hee who speaks very little English, but works magic with makeup and hair. She styles Naya's natural curls into something elegant and timeless, applies makeup that enhances rather than masks, and steps back with a satisfied nod. When Naya sees herself in the mirror, she barely recognizes the woman looking back. She looks powerful, beautiful, like someone worthy of standing beside a man like Jae-won Kang. The dress fits perfectly. Sun-hee helps her into it, makes tiny adjustments, adds simple diamond earrings that Jae-won sent up. At 2:45, there's a knock on the door. Miho stands in the hallway, dressed in a formal suit, his usual stern expression softened slightly. You look beautiful, he says gruffly. The boss is a lucky man. Thank you, Miho. She means it. He's been protecting her, supporting her, accepting her presence in Jae-won's life without question. Are you ready? He offers his arm. I'm ready. The garden has been transformed. White flowers everywhere, chairs arranged in a small semicircle, and at the front, Jae-won. He's devastating in a tailored black suit, his hair styled perfectly, his expression arrested as he watches her approach. She can see his hands shaking slightly at his sides, the only sign of nerves in an otherwise perfectly controlled exterior. Miho walks her down the short aisle, places her hand in Jae-won's, and steps back. Jae-won's fingers close around hers, warm and strong. You're stunning, he whispers. So are you. The ceremony is brief. The judge speaks about commitment and partnership, and choosing each other every day. Naya barely hears it. She's too focused on Jae-won's face, on the emotion swimming in his dark eyes, on the way his thumb traces circles on her palm. The rings, the judge prompts. Miho steps forward with 2 platinum bands. Simple, elegant, perfect. Jae-won takes one, sliding it onto Naya's finger beside the sapphire engagement ring. With this ring, he says, his voice rough, I promise to love you, protect you, cherish you, and choose you every day for the rest of my life. You're my everything, Naya. My purpose. My home. Tears stream down her face as she takes the second ring, sliding it onto his finger. With this ring, she says, her voice trembling, I promise to stand beside you, support you, love you, and choose you every day. You're my salvation, Jae-won. My safety. My heart. By the power vested in me, the judge says with a smile, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride. Jae-won doesn't wait for the last word to finish. He pulls Naya against him, kissing her with a desperate intensity that steals her breath. She can taste his tears mixing with hers, feel his hands trembling as they cup her face. When they finally break apart, there's applause from the small gathered crowd. Miho is grinning. Even the stoic security guards are smiling. Mrs. Kang, Jae-won says, testing the name. Mr. Kang, she responds, laughing through her tears. Mine. He kisses her again, softer this time. Finally, officially legally mine. Yours, she agrees. Always yours. The reception is intimate. Dinner in the penthouse, champagne, toasts from Miho that are surprisingly heartfelt. He talks about watching Jae-won change over the past weeks, seeing him become someone happier, lighter, more human. She's good for you, boss, Miho says, raising his glass. She makes you remember that there's more to life than power and survival. To Naya. To love. To the future. To the future, everyone echoes. As the night winds down and the guests leave, Jae-won sweeps Naya into his arms, carrying her to the bedroom despite her laughing protests. It's tradition, he insists. I have to carry my bride over the threshold. We've been living together for weeks. Doesn't matter. Tonight you're my wife. Everything is different now. He sets her down gently in the bedroom, and she sees rose petals scattered across the bed, candles flickering on every surface. He planned this, arranged every detail while she was getting ready. You're a romantic, she says, surprised and touched. Only for you. He moves behind her, slowly unzipping the wedding dress. I want tonight to be perfect. Something you remember forever. The dress pools at her feet, leaving her in delicate white lace lingerie. Another surprise. Son, he must have left it for her. Jae-won's breath catches. You're killing me. Good. She turns, starting on his tie. I want you desperate. I want you undone. I want you as affected as I am. I'm already undone. He helps her with his buttons, shrugging out of his jacket and shirt. I've been undone since the moment I saw you walking toward me in that dress. My wife. My Naya. Finally mine in every way that matters. They undress each other slowly, reverently. This isn't the desperate passion of before. This is something deeper. The physical manifestation of vows made, of promises exchanged, of two people binding themselves together forever. When he finally enters her, when they're connected in the most intimate way possible, they both go still, breathing hard, adjusting to the overwhelming rightness of it. I love you, Jae-won says, starting to move. God, Naya, I love you so much. I love you too. She wraps her legs around him, pulling him deeper. My husband. Mine. Yours. He kisses her, matching his rhythm to the word. Always yours. They make love slowly, building pleasure gradually, drawing out every moment. When they finally come together, crying out each other's names, it feels like more than physical release. It feels like souls merging, lives intertwining, forever being sealed. Afterward, wrapped in sheets and each other, Jae-won traces the ring on her finger. How does it feel, he asks. Being married to Seoul's most dangerous man? Safe. She kisses his chest. Terrifying. Perfect. That's how I feel too. His arms tighten around her. I never thought I'd have this. A wife who loves me for who I am. A partner who sees my darkness and doesn't run. A future that doesn't terrify me. We'll build it together. She tilts her face up to look at him. The legitimate businesses. The life beyond the organization. All of it. Together. Together, he agrees. Then, hesitantly, there's something I need to ask you. What? Do you want children? The question is careful, like he's afraid of the answer. Someday. When things are more stable. When the organization is fully transitioned. I know it's dangerous bringing children into this world, but... Yes. She doesn't let him finish. Yes, I want your children. Your family. All of it. The relief in his expression is palpable. You're sure? Because I can't promise complete safety. I can't promise a normal life. I don't want normal. She cups his face. I want you. And if that means raising children in a penthouse with bodyguards and teaching them to navigate your world, then that's what we'll do. Together. Together. He kisses her deeply. I'm going to be the best father I can be. Nothing like my own father. Present. Loving. Showing them every day that they matter more than power or money or the organization. I know you will. And she does. She's seen his capacity for love, for protection, for putting her before everything else. He'll be an incredible father. They talk late into the night about the future. Children, yes, but also businesses to build, lives to change, a world to create where power doesn't require sacrificing humanity. I want to start a foundation, Naya says. Help women who are trying to escape situations like human trafficking. Give them resources, education, a way out. Done. Jae-won doesn't hesitate. Whatever you need. Money, connections, protection. It's yours. Just like that. You're my wife. Your dreams are my dreams. Your goals are my goals. He kisses her forehead. Besides, it's good business. Legitimate operations that improve our reputation while actually helping people. Perfect. She laughs. Only you could make humanitarian work sound like a business strategy. I'm a pragmatist. His smile is unrepentant. But I'm also your husband. And making you happy is my primary goal. 6 months later, Naya stands in the same garden where they got married, watching construction crews put finishing touches on the new foundation building. The Kang Foundation for Women's Independence. It's real. Tangible. Something good emerging from his world of darkness. Jae-won comes up behind her, his arms wrapping around her waist, his hands splaying across her stomach where their child grows. 3 months along. A surprise, but a welcome one. How are you feeling? He murmurs against her neck. Good. Tired. Happy. She leans into him. Did you talk to your mother? I did. His voice is cautious. She wants to meet you again. Apologize for her behavior. She's not perfect, but she's trying. When? Next week. If you're comfortable with it. Naya thinks about the cold woman who judged her so harshly. Thinks about family, about healing, about giving people chances to change. Okay, she says. We'll go. Together. Together. He kisses her temple. Always together. The foundation opens 2 months later to international acclaim. Women from across Asia arrive, seeking help, seeking safety, seeking the fresh start the organization provides. Naya works tirelessly, her pregnancy barely slowing her down, and Jae-won supports every step. The legitimate businesses are thriving. The underground operations have been streamlined, cleaned up, made as ethical as possible for an organization built on illegal activity. It's not perfect. It never will be. But it's better. His mother comes to dinner once a month now. Still traditional, still difficult, but softening gradually. She touches Naya's stomach with tentative fingers, asks about the baby, offers advice in her own stern way. You're good for him, she admits one evening. I was wrong to judge you. My son is happier than I've ever seen him. That matters more than bloodlines or tradition. It's not a full apology, but it's enough. The baby arrives on a spring morning. A daughter, perfect and healthy and screaming with indignation at being born. Jae-won holds her with shaking hands, tears streaming down his face. She's ours, he whispers, awed. She's really ours. What should we name her? Naya is exhausted but glowing, watching her husband fall completely in love with their daughter. Minisio, he says quietly. After my mother. A bridge between old and new. Naya's heart swells. Minisio Kang. It's perfect. They take the baby home to the penthouse, now transformed with a nursery and baby equipment and all the chaos that comes with new parenthood. Jae-won is terrified and devoted in equal measure, checking on the baby constantly, barely sleeping, learning to change diapers and give bottles with the same intensity he once applied to running a criminal empire. You're a natural, Naya tells him, watching him rock their daughter at 3 a.m. I'm terrified I'll break her, he admits. She's so small. She's stronger than you think. Naya moves to lean against him. Like her mother. Like both her parents. He kisses her softly. Thank you. For what? For everything. For not running. For loving me. For giving me this family. For making me believe I could be more than my father, more than the organization, more than the monster everyone sees. You were always more. She takes his face in her hand. You just needed someone to remind you. They stand like that, the 3 of them, watching dawn break over Seoul. A family. Complicated, unconventional, built on a foundation of blood and danger and obsessive love. but real. Theirs. Forever. Years later, Naya will stand in that same spot, watching their daughter play in the garden with her younger brother. The organization will be fully legitimate by then, Jae-won having completed the transformation his uncle tried to stop. The foundation will have helped thousands of women. Their family will be happy, safe, whole. And every night, Jae-won will pull her close and whisper the same words he's said since that first desperate moment in the alley. I always wanted you. Not past tense. Present. Always. And every night, she'll respond the same way. I'm yours. Always yours. Because some love stories don't start with fairy tales. Some start with blood and fear and desperate salvation. Some start with a knife in an alley and a man who refused to let the woman he loved die. And those stories, the dark ones, the complicated ones, the ones built on obsession and protection and a love so fierce it borders on madness, those are the ones that last forever.